Hello and welcome to AAA Reviews. If you haven't seen my show before, I review figures in box. I'm an inbox collector and I'll give you an average price. It isn't the highest price, the lowest price we find, but it's an average price. I have help from a friend in Canada, Nostalgia Nate, who you can follow on Twitter. He helps me find the Canadian prices, and a great friend of mine, X-Men Creators, who you can follow the link in the description to his channel. He reviews lots of loose figures. If that's something you want to see, he helps me source the prices from the US. Of course, I am here in the UK, so I find the average price for the UK, and between the three of us, we give you an average price both in box and loose. That's if you haven't seen me before, and if you haven't seen me before, a lot of my videos are a very similar format, hopefully improving all the time, so please make sure you peruse them all. With that all said, let's talk about the X-Men 97, which obviously I was all excited about last week, and I am still really excited. They have now confirmed 100% that it will be a continuation of the original animated TV series. Eric Lewald and Julia Lewald are both back in as like advisories, so that's really cool. Also, Larry Houston is going to be involved, and 9 voice actors are also involved, so that is fantastic. This book here, which is the art and making of the animated series by Eric and Julia Lewald, I've had sat on my shelf for like a year or maybe more. I've started reading it now. I've done the first chapter. It is absolutely phenomenal. I've been so busy that I've put it off, but now with the news of this animated TV series coming out in 2023, I've had to start reading it. I've also popped a link in my description to Power of the X-Men's podcast last week, which was with Julia and Eric Lewald. Really interesting watch. One thing that I took from the podcast, which is really cool, is the animated series is going to be aimed towards teenagers and adults, so that is super cool. That means they've got less restrictions than what they had on the original TV series. That's got to be a good thing. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed so far. I really appreciate it. But if you haven't already, please hit a like, please hit subscribe, please turn on notifications, and please share with your friends to help my channel grow. With all that said, let's jump in. We're going to be doing X-Men, Toybiz, X-Force. It'll be series 3, wave 3, however you want to look at it. Way back in the 90s, these super cool retro figures. Let's take a look at this series, and let's jump straight in to this review. So, Eric Lewald and Julia Lewald, if you don't know who they are, and to be fair, I didn't know who they were until the first book came out, which was previously on X-Men, which is just a book. It's not got all the artwork in like this one has, are the original creators of the show. So this book here I have been reading, and I'm going to flip it over and we'll have a couple of look. I'm sure they won't mind me showing a few pages off this fantastic book, which has got the most awesome artwork from the show and is absolutely fantastic. Now Julia has been she's the one that pushed for these books to be made and worked on these books, and it's absolutely fantastic, and I think is the reason why we're getting X-Men 97, because she's just been at Comic Cons and she's been pushing this. So yeah, a fantastic book, tons of information. I don't want to spoil anything. It's definitely worth a read. I've been really enjoying it. If you get a chance, and if you're a big fan of this show, these figure line, you want to get this book. You'll learn a lot from it, and a definite must for any collector. Okay, so first off, we have the Uncanny X-Men X-Force Cable 2nd edition, Deep Space Armor. I have done the 1st edition. If you've checked my other videos, you'll be able to find that one. Cable, known as Nathan Summers, was first appearance was in Uncanny X-Men 201, and as Cable it was New Mutants 87. In the animated TV series, he helps set Gambit free and the other X-Men and mutants when they have those collars put around their necks. He doesn't have his cyborg arm at the time. He later is in other episodes where his future is being wiped out because of a virus that Apocalypse has caused. He goes back in time. Long story short, Wolverine ends up in the animated series getting the virus, and that creates like antibodies to stop his future and his son Tyler from being wiped out. He is voiced by Lawrence Bain. A really cool figure. What would you pay for this figure? We'll take a look at the back. There's that laser gun that comes up, Absolutely awesome. What would you pay for Cabo sealed like this? Well, in the UK he comes in at £20. In Canada he comes in at $50, and in the US he comes in at $30. Those are your average sale prices and asking prices. Loose, he comes in at $15 in the US. In Canada he came in at $25, and in the UK there were no examples around, so I don't really want to guess this one, but I would say maybe 12 to 15 pounds if he comes up loose. That's what I think this figure would probably come up for on the UK eBay site if he came up. Next up, we've got Samuel Guthrie, otherwise known as Cannonball, with catapult launching action. He was voiced by Adrian Egan in the TV series. He was in one episode called Hidden Agenda. And he wasn't in all this get-up then either. He was a younger Cannonball. A really cool character with supersonic flight that creates an impenetrable force field. He was the founder of X-Men Junior Team. And his first appearance was in Marvel Graphics Novels 4. Now, this one here is the pink variant. We also have the purple variant. And this one looks just like he did in his comic book, as his comic book counterpart. I'll show you that in a moment so you can take a look, because a lot of the X-Force were just in the comics alone. So I mean, he had it, his TV appearance in Hidden Agenda, but he didn't look like this. Now, the myth is that it was purple, changed to purple because they saw the pink as too feminine. But I am going to show you an image now of a Cannonball on screen which is pink. The difference being that the shoulder pads that you can see on the one on screen they're metallic silver. That's the only difference. If they were worried about it being pink, they wouldn't have re-released it a couple of years later in pink. So this myth that they changed it to purple because they didn't like the pink is just a myth, because if you were going to do a re-release later on, you would re-release him in purple. Does that make sense? It does to me. We'll take a look at the back. There's the launcher that launches him off. So every toy has a gimmick, and that is Cannonballs. What would you pay for Cannonball? Well, price wise, it doesn't matter if you have purple or pink. The prices are pretty much the same wherever you're buying them. In the US, he comes in at $20 sealed. In Canada, he comes in on average at $40 sealed, and in the UK, £20. And of course, these all include postage, depending on where you live, or shipping, if you call it shipping. In the US, he comes in loose at $15. In Canada, loose at $30. And in the UK, I could not find a loose example, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say around 10 UK pounds normally for Cannonball. So there are your prices for 2021. Now, if you are all into comics and collecting comics, these are what the figures, where you'd find the figures for the X-Force in these comics here. And I've actually just done this for some quick reference. There is Krule, one I'll be showing you in a moment. I've put these slips of paper in. There is Cannonball, and in purple. So maybe that's why they changed it to purple. Nothing to do with this, oh, it's too feminine. It's because he's purple in the comics. So these were the comics. You'll all remember this one because it was like, it came with a collector's card. It was like, you know, well, it could be worth thousands of pounds, that kind of thing. Clearly, obviously that wasn't correct, because everybody went out. Everyone and his dog went out and bought one. But there you go. So that's where this figure line came from. And it wasn't until I was a little bit older that I discovered that's where these X-Force figures came from, because not all of them appear. In fact, very few of them appear in the animated TV series. So that's where they come from. And that's why some people just don't always know. If you don't read the comics, you're not going to know about the X-Force characters. Next up, we've got Krule. This evil mutant is part of the Immortals called Externos. He represents ferocity and the meanest and maddest of them all. His first appearance was in X-Force 12 back in 1992. How much would you pay for Krule in 2021? Well, in the US, he comes in at just $20 on average. In Canada, $45, and in the UK, £25. In the US, loose, $14. In Canada, $30, and in the UK there were no examples around, so I'm not really going to guess. It's difficult because I've seen one loose for like silly money, but I would like to say if you were going to pick him up loose, no more than 15 UK pounds with his accessory. Talking of his accessories, it's the same accessory that he has, which is he whips it around, turns into a bracelet. I'll show you on the back here now. So it's swung around like that, but it can also be used as a cool bracelet. I love all the gimmicks that you get with these toys. These toys from the 90s were the best. They reused the same accessory with Thanos from Fantastic Four, which is really cool. Now on your screen now, prepare to be amazed, a carded Krule with the Kane figure is being sold for $1,100. Absolutely crazy. I will advise you all that it is not worth anywhere near that kind of money. That Toybiz miscards, upside down, those kind of things are quite a frequent occurrence. It's not like it's like one in a one and it happens now and again. It happens quite often, and they are simply not worth that kind of money, unfortunately. So there you go. There is Krule from the X-Men X-Force figures. Next up, we've got Kane, 2nd edition, whose first appearance was in X-Force 2. He is a really cool figure. He has this spinning blade. His wrist will spin and that blade will spin around, which is different to the 1st edition, which is this one, where he had the gimmick of a retractable hand. This one spins. So really cool. He did make a cameo appearance in the TV series in the episodes in Time Fugitives. He's shown fighting as a member of Cable's resistance before being sucked into a time vortex. He was also, an interesting fact this is, he was also meant to be in the Deadpool film, but he was cut out due to budget concerns for the CGI for his arms. He has super cybernetic arms, and he also has a cyber eye. He can create holograms, and he has cybertech legs. Super cool. What would Kane cost you, 2nd edition cost you in 2021? We're in the US. He comes in at $25. In Canada, he comes in at $45. In the UK, because you're going to have to import him, it's going to cost you around 36 UK pounds. Loose, he's going to cost around $13. In Canada, he would cost you $30, and in the UK, there were none available. Now, I want to point something out to you. I bought this one not that long ago. It was actually the last one of all the X-Men I needed for the collection, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to buy him again. This is been opened. There's no card inside, collector's card, and it was resealed poorly, and I can tell. And they've sort of heated it up and restuck it. Hopefully you can see that there. This is something that happens. I did get all my money back, so it's not an issue, but I will have to collect Kane 2nd edition yet again. Next up, another Cable. This is Cable 3rd edition. I do feel we got too many Cables. I may do a Cable special one day because there were so many. This is the 3rd edition with rapid rocket firing action. He is still really cool, and that gun is absolutely awesome. So how much would you pay for this Cable? Well, this Cable in the US comes in at $30 on average, in Canada $50, and in the UK £25. In the US, loose, he comes in at around $10. That's with all his accessories. In Canada, $35. So I'm guessing, that's probably an import, because Nate couldn't find any in Canada domestically. And in the UK, I could not find any examples, but I'm going to say around $12.99 with his accessory would be about right. Nate did say today, of all the figures and that he found, they were the closest in prices that he had found with this series, so that was kind of interesting. I'll just show you the back. There is that rapid gun, which the bullets pull through, really cool, and obviously it launches some rockets. So there is Cable 3rd edition. Next up, we've got Grizzly. There were several characters called Grizzly, but this is Theodore Winchester, first seen in X-Force issue 8, created by Rob Liefeld. He has superhuman strength, speed, stamina, obviously size, and razor sharp teeth and claws. Sadly, My version has come away. I do remember when it got delivered that it was just badly stored and it come away. I have put the card with my collector's cards, but that means we'll just take a look at him, and it just means I've got to buy another one. So let's take a look at this one because he's loose. Why not? And it comes with these giant hammers. Really cool. I'll just pop them in there, and then there's a button on the back, or a lever should I say, and there we are, hammer action. So there is Grizzly. What would you pay for a sealed Grizzly? Well, in the US the average is $20, in Canada it is $45, and in the UK sealed 25 UK pounds. In the US he comes in loose at 14, in Canada he comes in loose at 30, and in the UK loose he comes in at 15 UK pounds, which is what my version is now because sadly it's come away. I will pick him up again because him and Kane are the only two I now need that I'm gonna need sealed to finish my collection. But yeah, it's not a bad figure. It's a decent size. It's pretty cool. Don't remember him ever being in the animated series, so I'm going to say that's probably a no. And he certainly wasn't. It's certainly definitely just a comic book character. So there we are. There is 1993 X-Men X-Force figure line. So Series 3, Wave 3, whatever you want to look at. As always, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And until next week, good luck searching for that toy gold.